pretty much live everywhere else already. So
Oh
once this
yeah.
thing kicks in, we will be live all over the internet for Marketing Monday. So we are live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. It is Marketing Monday. Your boy Pat Hilton, joined by Zach Hoffman. We've been doing it every Monday for a couple weeks now, and we're going to keep it rolling. Zach, how you feeling this morning?
Feeling great, ready for that holiday, but it's been more than a couple weeks, Pat. We've been rolling here for quite a few already, so
Dude, I'm
let's
loving
keep it
it.
rocking and rolling, man.
I'm loving it. And if you guys want to subscribe, you can go to the Social Marketing Show, and you will find every episode of Marketing Monday with Zach Hoffman on the Social Marketing Show podcast. If you want to listen to it in your car, we talk about all things promotion, all things advertisement, all things marketing, business, innovation, entrepreneurship. And I also have a ton of other awesome guests. But Mondays have become the Zach Hoffman day. So give us a little rundown of the topics that you pulled, and let's jump into it.
For sure, Pat, we're going to pick up on Jimmy Fallon. Essentially, video killed the radio star back in the day when we were watching MTV as kids. It looks like social media and other things are killing the TV star. Then we're going to go into Diet Pepsi by Addison Rae. Essentially hearing that trademark on the radio, where's that fine line? And then that big marketing merger of Omnicom acquiring Interrepublic and essentially blaming some of the big platforms out there in digital as to why they have to do it. I call BS on that, but we'll talk a little bit more about it as we go into it. So yeah, let's roll, man. Let's roll into video killed the radio star. You got something to build on that? I mean,
Well,
what do you
yeah,
say? Social
totally.
media killed the TV star or what?
Well, I was talking to my buddy Kyle Mallion yesterday about all of this, and there's a popular artist he follows named Russ. And I guess this Russ guy came out with one song a week. It was like episodic. He would write and produce a song and release it once a week. And,
All right.
for a while there, obviously, just like you or me or anyone else, he didn't have a huge following. He was just doing an episodic thing. And then it blew up for him. And now he's his own independent label and he's pretty big. And you look at something like that and you think about the fact that the creator killed the production star. So there used to be famous producers that produced everything. You got your Quincy Jones when it comes to music, or you got your Steven Spielberg or George Lucas when it comes to movies. And then you look down the line at music today, and independent creators are their own record label. They don't need radio anymore. And so
Oh,
online video, online podcasting, producing your own music and your own music videos or doing what Russ did, that is the way now. And there's so many people that have figured out, wait a minute, I can produce this all on my own and book my own tours and my own rooms and my own shows or my own conferences or whatever and keep all the cash and be my own business. Yes, you can. The modern economy's changed that because of digital, we talk about digital transactions, a good website, a great product or service, and now the whole world can see it, and you don't need radio. You don't need a
all
record
right.
label.
Well, the gates to distribution are ever evolving.
Correct. And they're more open than ever.
Oh, for sure. I mean, just yeah, to go on to like back to Jimmy Fallon with his 1.2 million viewers on traditional TV, just to compare back in the day when you had the great late night show battle between Jay Leno and Dave Letterman. They were
Uh-huh.
both at Jay Leno had 3.8 million viewers on average. Dave Letterman had 3.1 million viewers on average. So we're talking these guys essentially what we're dating about like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, had 2 to 3x the amount of viewers. Jimmy Fallon, the record, late night show, talk show host, on NBC right now, is essentially at 1.2 million viewers, a third of where they're at. On Instagram, he's got 23 million followers, Facebook 10 million, TikTok 11 million, and then on YouTube 32 million subscribers. But essentially they're saying that doesn't pay the bills. They're saying there's no advertisers buying, through him to get onto his social media platforms because like they're measuring it on traditional TV commercial sales. It's a dying, industry in a way. It's very interesting when you look at the metrics and the data. The data supports that it's it's dwindling.
So what do you think about that then? So where does late night talk show or late night TV even go? Because if younger generations are not embracing that as the thing and they're going on YouTube or they're going on podcast sites or they're going on, X or Facebook to watch what they're going to watch,
Yeah.
just like we just said 5 seconds ago, the creator has all the power in 2025. But
Oh,
you
it's
got to figure
yeah.
out how to get eyeballs and people don't like this anymore, but I think that this is a core thing I learned 6 or 7 years ago when I met all these big guy speakers for the first time and investors and business people, and they were like, dude, the niche is where you're going to win.
For
And
sure.
and
But
I
it's
agree
also,
with that.
yeah. Well, if you look at, so like why they had these late night shows in the past, I believe it was really to push an agenda or to push like movies that they produce or
Yeah.
TV shows to push like other stars that they have, essentially in a movie coming out. But if you look at like we've talked about The Rock on social media and how huge he is, so he
Huge.
can basically push anything forward. But even if I measure it off my kid and what he wants to see Minecraft and he wants to see Jack Black. That comes out in April. So when you look at like, I guess the future of syndication or future of like even like big movies, you look at like Mario Brothers, like it's just finding great franchises that I guess like already have their distribution, already have their audiences, like people that are like married to essentially the content and the assets and leveraging partnerships there to really, parlay to the next level. It's not the influence of a late night show guy or, somebody it's correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that age old like distribution model of like tune in at 11:30, figure out what's coming out this weekend. I think you're better off betting on a big, big following that's already engaged in watching.
Well, and that's the thing about us as we continue to perfect this. We were talking about, I mean, what time should we do this? What does it look like? And I mean, if we had a time every Monday and we could tell everybody to show up to the live every Monday and we're set up and we're ready to go, which I think our sweet spot's like 8:30.
Central Standard for you.
Yeah, and
Yeah, but
so
yeah,
like I think figuring that part out, when can people tune into your channel? How can they find you? And how can they sign up for a call? This goes right back to because I had no money to market myself any other way than social media. So I'm like, all right,
mhm.
well, it's $99 a month for a ClickFunnels site. I got 99 bucks. And then all I have to do is send people to this ClickFunnel with this video of me telling them what I do. I've worked with Grant Cardone and Gary Vee in this in person. Or for you, it's we've worked with this lawyer, that lawyer, the other lawyer. And here's how you can book a call and a consultation with us. And it all goes
Yeah.
back to when you're on the internet, because we are smaller than they are and we don't have a machine behind us. Our numbers that we need to clear are also much lower with a much
Oh,
higher return. And so, again,
yeah.
the power to the creator. They've got the eyeballs we need, but we've got the skills for those eyeballs. We just need to figure out exactly how to maneuver it and how to angle it. So I think even
Well,
for us, there's a good lesson for us. How, we
yeah.
want to make sure people can tune into Marketing Mondays every week. And so as we go
Well,
forward, we'll start promoting that even more and figuring out what the tone is for that.
Oh, for sure. But that exact time range, it doesn't even necessarily matter because we're finding that, a lot of wealth is created within the cuts that we actually get, the reels. It's not the actual live piece.
Totally. And
That's,
that's the lesson here from social media is how easy it is to get daily content. That's one of the
oh yeah,
lessons of the
but
show.
yeah, you take a 20, 30 minute cut and then you get, a few different gems and you see where the audience takes it or what the audience actually likes. That whole Jimmy Fallon piece and backing it up with statistics and data, is a little topic point that we talked about the other day. And essentially, people really, enjoyed hearing content about like where late night shows are going or why it even still exists. So we just built up on it a little bit more. So it's taking those gems of content and then essentially leveraging it into more expanded content and picking up for some more details as you go forward. It's really expanding content into content. And it doesn't necessarily matter if people are tuning in live. It's like those gems. It's like if you watch ESPN
Totally.
Sports Center or some of the reels when it comes to sports, I mean, there are people watching the games live, but like fantasy football and like different things have really saved sports in a lot of ways. I know we keep bringing up, I personally keep bringing up sports, but it's just really mind-boggling how, that traditional infrastructure is being shaken purely by what's going on throughout
Well,
media
I
in
think
general.
that once we've already gotten to the news being 110% disrupted by social media and the internet
Oh yeah.
and independent creators. And now we're going to get into professional sports. We're already kind of seeing it. St. Louis Blues fans have been so annoyed with the way that the St. Louis Blues streaming system works. This is a great topic. I'm just going to add this one in there because I have so many people that grew up watching me play at the bars that now still follow me on Facebook, and I'm at the business conferences now. And the Blues have this whole thing screwed up. You're going to love this. So you can't find the games. You have to like subscribe to this outsourced thing. I guess they have a deal with some TV network, and so you have to pay for this extra TV network to watch the St. Louis Blues, and then it like never works, and you can't watch it on your phone, and X, Y, and Z. And so here is my solution for the St. Louis Blues: you need to stream just like we're doing. And by the way, St. Louis Blues do a great job with like, this just happened, this person just scored, Blues are up 3-2 going into the third period. I mean, they're doing like everything else right, but like, where can I watch the game? And so what's going to happen is people are going to pirate the game. People are going to find a stream, and now you're losing the revenue. Yep. So those $50 a month you could be doing. So here's what the Blues need to do. You guys need to have a thing in an app, like the St. Louis Blues app has a subscription model, and for $29.99 a month, you get to watch all the Blues games in the Blues app, and it goes, directly to the St. Louis Blues. Keep it and sell it on your own. You don't need TV. Go right to your customers' phones. Then, if you buy the $100 a month deal, you get the T-shirt of the month, or you get the little freaking bear stuffy mailed to your house. For $500 a month, you get this or whatever. You know how it is. You get the 20% discount on the jersey because maybe Zach wants to buy his kid a jersey, right? But the streaming, you almost want to just give that away for a price that's just so brainless. And then everyone in St. Louis, or St. Louis Blues fans that have left that still watch the team, will all gladly pay that $30 a month to see it. I just want to watch it on my phone.
Yeah.
So
you're definitely passionate about that.
They're screwing that up.
Oh,
and they need a streaming team. So if you guys need help, Zach and I will hop on. We'll stream it for the people. In fact,
as a Marlins fan,
in fact, it's sad, but I could go find the pirated version and pull it up and screen share it and show you guys how easy it is for people to take it anyway. And then you'll realize that you need to be implementing this system and charging for it. Because that's what's going to happen is the pirates are going to come in. Everybody's going to figure out how to get the streams just like they stole CDs back in the day. Nobody bought the new Limp Bizkit CDs. Somebody pirated that shit.
The Napster streaming.
That's what's going to happen with streaming. And unless you put a system in place to where people can subscribe 20, 30, $50 a month, you're losing a ton of revenue by not having those people in your system. For us, we just give it away for free because we want to earn those eyeballs.
It's the viewers. I mean, it's the loyalty of the fans. And that goes, another topic that's very interesting is YouTube. YouTube TV is raising their prices, right? And they're saying it's because of like the cost of content, the price of content. The first thing that went through my mind when YouTube is paying for content, I'm like, you all have the most stickiest content. People are uploading to your network for free, yet you're still paying ESPN and all these like antiquated networks for their content. What they have to ask themselves, why are we paying for this content? Like, should we start a YouTube channel on YouTube TV of like Blippi and like all these other people that have like really like just submitted their content for us? Even like NBC News, they have a YouTube channel. They're uploading it because they get more viewers on YouTube direct than they do through like live broadcast. So, going on in my head, I was like, why are they paying all this money for access to live content when it's YouTube? Like, as a user, as somebody that pays them, the only thing I really care about is live sports sometimes. And it's like, why are they upping the ante on the content costs? I think what's going to be interesting is YouTube's going to get to squeeze them all at some point because they used to muscle the cable operators or blackout like DirecTV.
This stuff's been going on forever. They tried to shut the UFC down back in the day. They called it too violent. I can't remember the guy's name who was in like Congress. One of the political figures was like, John McCain or whoever it was. And it was just like, dude, they put stickers on CDs for explicit lyrics way back in the day. All it did was
Yep.
make it cooler. They tried to ban UFC streams, said it's too violent. We won't sanction the fights in this state, that state, the other state. They're huge now. And in fact,
Yep.
they're so big, and we talked about this too, they're so big that professional bull riding, UFC, and WWE are all under this TKO company. They all got acquired for billions, billions of
Yeah.
dollars. And so
Oh, no.
all these brands that mix entertainment with a skill set, a performance skill set, like UFC or WWE or professional bull riding, you have to have skills and like professional physical abilities to participate in any one of those sources of entertainment. They're competitive.
For
And that's
sure.
how
I mean,
it's becoming with content too.
well,
Content's
funny,
getting more
too.
competitive.
I don't know about you, but I've had friends for decades that have like DVR'd or recorded games and been like, "Don't tell me the score of the game. I still have to watch it."
Oh,
So it's like
man.
going back to what people are paying for the price of live content, or these networks are squeezing people for live content. Like, I don't think the consumer really cares as much as they did about live content as per se. And like I said, YouTube, if you're listening out there, like you guys have a gold mine of content. Like I wouldn't be I wouldn't hold it against them if they had YouTube TV channels that picked some of their best content out there, best produced content, and actually created channels where you could engage with specific like YouTube and show off creators live, show off creators with their piece of content,
Well,
live
it's like
streams, and
you
put
said.
commercials on it.
It's like you said about Gary Vee with the live shopping stuff. I think
Yeah.
he's accurate.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's what we need to do. All we're doing by coming on here and doing this is number one, showing people it's possible to do it. You don't need to
Yeah.
be fancy. It doesn't need to be scripted. It doesn't need to be super planned out. When Zach comes here and we sit in the chairs, it'll look a little different. It'll look more like a, studio session, but it's supposed to
take a
be.
trip out
This
there.
is supposed to look like we're at the office and we're working and we're running companies. And like you said, it's the ESPN model. ESPN
Yep.
is using a podcasting model to broadcast their stuff and pull clips from it, and all that clip stuff gets shifted to the internet.
Oh,
And
for
Stephen
sure,
A.
for
Smith
sure.
has blown up because of that model.
Oh, he's
Stephen A. just took it and ran with it. I give him
man.
much love.
Yeah, but his hooks on content. Don't get me started.
We gotta get Stephen A. Smith on the Marketing Monday show.
Yeah. Funny.
Stephen A.
All right,
Zach Hoffman's ready to go toe to toe with Stephen A.
some of those hooks he uses for content or clicks.
Bro,
I'm like,
he's
come on,
outrageous sometimes.
Come on.
But only
You
he
know,
can
that's
say
pushing
it. Only he can say it.
Only he can say it or get
That's-
away with it. But
That's why you got to give him credit. Like, if you're going toe to toe with a guy like that, he's got angles that he can hit you from that you can't defend. So
Hey, man.
he's dope.
he's got the platform. To keep going forward here, another topic that we talked about. So I was listening to the radio with my kids, and the Billboard 100 is on, and there's a song, Diet Pepsi by Addison Rae, and I'm like, I had to like double, triple check this. I'm like, Diet Pepsi. I'm like, are they running a commercial on the radio, or is this really
Is
a
this
song?
an actual song?
This is an actual song, and she has
Wow.
30 million plus cumulative views over, across YouTube. So I can only imagine the exposure, the impressions, the reach that Pepsi has gotten from this song, Diet Pepsi. And there's three people in the car listening when I was driving, and I was just amazed to hear Diet Pepsi on the radio. And then I looked it up. I was like, there's no real endorsement. She just used the trademark, the brand, put it, as the name of her song.
Right.
And it's interesting because, the companies and brands for a long time have been protecting trademarks, right? But now we're in this new, evolution of content, or this new era where here you go, somebody used Diet Pepsi as the name of their song, broadcast it throughout the radio and all these main networks, and they're cool with it. So it just rides. But it's very interesting because it's a lot of reach. And they didn't pay for it. It just goes to show you, some of these things, these social buzz, social cuts, like, big brands are leveraging off of this greatly.
Yeah, and you're actually really good at zoning in on how these people are converting and what they're doing. And so, this is a good lesson for our guys that clip these clips. Because we've really been zoning in on where's the value, what's the story of each clip, because we're having so many recordings, so many conversations, so many of these now. I got like 6 of these today. That's why I was like a jumbled mouth, like this morning. But but it's good because now I'm set up. I'm ready to go on a Monday. So it's always that way. It's like wedging in that extra mile always pays off at the end.
Oh, for sure.
And so I think that for anybody watching, it's like grab your phone and start posting some stuff because it lives forever.
Yep. And apparently if you use a Coca-Cola or, drink your favorite drink, because I'm not a Pepsi drinker. I like Coke.
It's the same thing I did making a song about Grant Cardone. He didn't pay me for the song or pay me for the performance, but how much was it worth to my career to even have his eyeballs see that and see me perform?
Get it out there.
It changed everything.
Yeah, another piece of news out there. So there's a big marketing merger happening, if anybody knows or cares. But Omnicom's trying to acquire Interrepublic. And it's interesting because in the article they blame Google and Facebook for impacting like the dollars and resources being spent on creative or just on the all distribution. The reality is I think they got to step their game up. I mean, I haven't seen. We've seen some classic campaigns on digital, but I think there's still a lot of room out there for some like real classic campaigns to come out across digital media, whether it be like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and really like impress upon the public. I mean, we've seen the Crate Challenge over the past few years. There's never really been like a huge brand endorsed, I would say, push of like viral content that's gotten the public by storm. When I was a kid, you had Coke versus Pepsi, like the mystery cup. Like, you had a mystery cup, like choose which one is Coke, choose which one's Pepsi, just by a taste sample. Where is that in today's market? It'd be great to see, a real viral campaign really kick off. Maybe it's the French fry challenge, Burger King versus McDonald's or something. But I mean, we have yet to see anything take social media by storm that's like a real brand endorsed push. I mean, like I said, like we talked about before, seen some great ads on TV, but they fall flat from a social and digital syndication. They're not even there.
Yeah, and I think that it's almost like the user's job. So it's back to the me making the tune for Cardone. Gary Vaynerchuk did a thing on this person that made this cheese thing at Chili's, and like the cheese came out and it was just some user generated video, some chick that was eating there, went totally viral. The Hawk Tua thing. Of their sales. What's happening right now is the things that are going viral are like the things that people do or say that are getting captured in real time that aren't faked, that people are now looking at and be like, whoa. And so we have to think about, because the live matters, but it's the replay that goes viral.
Oh, yeah,
so like,
for sure.
Like we talked about, going live on Sports Center, Stephen A. Smith, he's doing what I'm doing all day long. He's got his suit on. He's hopping on calls. He's doing this. He's doing this for this and that for that. And then he's got to go to the studio at 3 o'clock. These people are on this all day long. They are like walking media brands.
Pat, you got a suit?
I mean, I can. I can sometimes. I need to pull a Kevin O'Leary on here sometimes and like wear the top that looks really clean. And then from the side, I've got like pajama pants on. But I think that what we're doing here is a good example for everyone, especially the LinkedIn followers, because I've been thinking, how do I attack LinkedIn? How do I do video on LinkedIn? And I think live videos like this are the best way to just get something out every single week, episodic, having conversations, and then just have fun pulling from it. Because like you said, Sports Center and all these people have been doing it for years.
There's always information. There's always news out there to cover. I mean, there's always great stories, especially in your niche or whatever market you may be in. There's always a piece of content to talk about, or specific topics is something that you saw in your marketplace that people want to hear about. There's definitely interesting things going on all the time.
Totally, dude. What else we got on the list?
That covers our list, man. But, we're coming up here on the holidays. You got any great plans?
Not really. So today we've got a full schedule at the Content Hub. So if you guys don't know,
Nice.
we run a local private studio here in Dallas, Texas at my house. It's called the Content Hub. And we've got people coming in. So we got a couple Zooms coming up here in a little bit. And then we've got 3 people recording today. And then we've got people here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I got stuff to do Saturday for promos for the company before the end of the year. So it's a
Nice.
busy week of filming content, and I think that it's going to become more and more important for people to have creative editing teams and distribution teams like mine moving into these years ahead. And so I think that we've really built something through a time where people didn't understand it, and we were able to get through those times where people didn't get it. And now we're at a time where people know that they need it and they don't need to get it. We will just do everything for them except talk on the camera. And so that's the goal.
For sure. For sure.
It's just like you, like the people that work with your marketing agency, like myself, I don't want to learn ads, or I'm not going to be as good at running those campaigns as you when you've done that for 15 years. But I can give
20.
you the video to run as an ad.
Yeah.
20 years. Yeah. 20.
Yeah, but yeah, it's the plan, it's the execution, it's the syndication, you always
There's so many pieces to it. There's so many pieces.
For every one client you and I have had that are like, oh, I'm just gonna take it over and do it in house. You see them do it for like a day, and then they're like,
dude, people that leave our social media agency, there's a couple of them that still post. And then there's obviously those people that we just integrate with. We just do certain jobs for certain people, which is fine.
Yeah.
But usually the people that don't stay don't post anymore.
Yeah.
And I find it
you go
baffling
crickets.
because these channels are free to use. Even if you don't pay for a creative editing team, or you don't pay for an agency or whatever, not using these platforms is a huge mistake.
Oh yeah, there's definitely opportunities to continue to get content information out there, and the gates are down.
Totally,
it's awesome.
Dude. Totally,
it's awesome.
Rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. This is Social Marketing Show, Marketing Monday with Zach Hoffman. It's going down. Hope you guys have a great week. Turn up the
and a great holidays.
Yeah, great holidays.
Thank you, Pat.
Great holidays.
Sure.
We're going to be here on these Mondays, right?
For sure. We'll have to talk about next week and the holiday after, but yeah, we'll make it happen.
The 23rd.
Might be a different scenery, different backdrop. We'll see.
Yeah, we're going to spice it up. Appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of the week. Hope you do great things. Get out there, stay motivated, and crush it. We're going to end on Facebook.